Hi everyone, it is me, Jordan Long here, and I haven't done a YouTube live stream in some time. I think the last time I ever did a YouTube live stream, it may have been around June of last year. Well, if I did, it has been some time since I did a YouTube live stream. So, the first thing I want to talk about is that I want to say, first off, I want to say thank you to everyone who's followed me for all my years on YouTube and all my many YouTube fairways. I know that offshooting from what's from what Natalie Tang and her followership fairway and others out there do is not a smooth thing. And I know at the end of the day that I'm never going to get the same watch time or look time that she gets for her work. You know. Oh hi Jordan. Hello friend. How are you doing? Doing great. Like I said, it's been some time since I've done this YouTube live stream, so I don't know how long ago it was, if I when I made my last one or not. I like to say I probably my last one was probably around June of last year, but I could be wrong about that. You know. So I just got in the mood to want to do a YouTube live stream since Xena did it, since Sailor Moon did it, and I only thought that I should do it. And right now there's some kind of hang up with the live stream where it keeps saying you got 2 followers, you got 1 follower. You know that whole that whole thing about that whole hang up that makes you wonder if folks are coming in and out on your YouTube live stream. Anyway, I don't really care about it. It says it has been a long time. How have you been? I've been all right. You know, I shape shifted myself again. I'm no longer the same one I was. This is the way I look like since December, the end of December of last year. So yeah, I've been all right. You know. So anyway, the other thing I want to, say is that so a lot of folks might also are going to ask me this one thing. Oh, Jordan, why don't you ever go on Discord? Because they bring that one up a lot. One, I got blocked from Discord a long time ago. There was never any ground sync or why for it, and you know, and it just never worked for me. I didn't get any followers. I really didn't get any friends or anything like that. You know, and I know a lot of folks like like to keep bringing up. A lot of folks like to bring up Twitch, like, oh, you can go on. First off, I can go on YouTube, do a live stream right now, so Twitch isn't anything outstanding, you know. And as far as TikTok go, it's not outstanding either. If you have the tools and you're good at making small films, then the YouTube Shorts will work for you. I don't have a wireless Wi-Fi speaker with me. So I can't make short films and I can't relay them on YouTube. So that's why there are no shorts or whatever you want to call them. Plus, I think at the end of the day, long films, either be upload or live stream, are always going to be bigger and always be greater than small, short, instead of little or small films. You know? It says, greetings, Jordan. Good to see you. Good to see you too, you know. Good to see you doing very good to see you too, friend. Safford clearing my throat and the burps and all the other stuff that everyone else out there would be getting all be going. Where's my film skimming tool? Where's my film skimming tool? I need to cut that out. I need to make my film flawless. You know, and then and they're all saying, "Oh shit, I gotta wait till the shit for lays before I can do anything." And it's not like a upload where you made a file of the film and then you can put it in either the VLC or ArcSoft or Microsoft or Apple or Macicam or LastCut or Interweb hookup or the Sony one or whatever many other film skimming, cutting, shifting, cleaning tools there are out there. Jordan, your YouTube film is awesome. Thank you. What happened to your body? Nothing happened to it. I just got this new one, and this is just the one I offshooted to since the end of December of last year. And I don't mind. The other one is doing well. And you're probably thinking, "Oh, Jordan, how long are you going to keep this body for?" Until I get some other one. And then I offshoot to that. And then it becomes, I don't know what it's going to become. So yeah, I don't do that. And just to let other folks know about the whole Block and Hush, as long as you have their hookup, their YouTube hookup, and you put it in, you can hush them and lock them, even if they don't say anything on your films or on your fairway. Just to let you know. My sleep, I guess, is all right. As long as I take sleep help, either it be melatonin or whatever. But I guess it's all right. And you always know how there's always folks every time you'll watch a film about what to do when you can't sleep, and they're always like, "You should never take sleep help." Almost like it's some kind of game or something, and it's being unfair, and you're not playing by the oversight. Well, what these folks choose to do is their own business. But if it helps you, if it helps me, then I do it. But there always seems to be some kind of hatred or unlike to sleep help out there. It's almost if you shouldn't do that. They're like, and they always talk about, "Oh, you should cut back on how much you drink, and you should only work your bed for sleeping, and oh, you should do this and do that, and the room should be dark and it should be cold and all this shit." As almost if you taking sleep help is like unfair or something like that. I don't know. The last time I got anything from McDonald's, it was like, I think 2 weeks ago. And it was Tails or Miles for the McDonald's Happy Meal for the Sonic 2 Ford film. So it's been some time since I've had, McDonald's. I think it was last week or the week before that. Yeah, it probably was. It was, no, it was earlier this month. It was on April the 7th. So the last time I had any McDonald's, it was April the 7th. So it's been almost like a whole month. So there's always going to another thing I always like to bring up. The last time I got in McDonald's, I told you, it was on April the 7th. That was the last time I had McDonald's, And when I do get McDonald's, I always get the Happy Meal, because the Happy Meal comes with a toy and it comes with food. And I know there's going to be some folks out there thinking, "Oh, well, you're too old for that," but I'm not. Sometimes it's how it goes. But the last time I had McDonald's was on April the 7th. So Your guess goes mine. Well, someone took their thing off. I got about 5 followers. Well, 5 watchers of my work. If they're followers of my work, I don't know, but some of them are followers, some are watchers, some are our first time folks who came on and saw me doing a YouTube live stream. And I got 6 followers right now, or we're watchers, 6 watchers, or 5 watchers, as YouTube says. So anyway, this is how it always seems to be. So I know tomorrow I'm gonna go and get my books back, the books I took out. So on Saturday or Star Day, you're gonna see my books from the McKees. You're gonna see books from the McKeesport Book House and McKeesport. Film's gonna be up on Saturday or Star Day, so you'll see that. You know, and I know that anything I do on YouTube might not be outstanding or wonderful or awesome, because there's always going to be a bunch of folks that are like, Jordan, but don't you know there's already other folks that you have shown on your YouTube fairway who do what you do, but but they do it in a way. Yeah, I know. I follow free. I have free folks on my YouTube fairway. If you go to other fairways shown, I know. I don't know. Are you talking about Jade? Well, Jade's doing all right. If that's who you're asking about, Jadester, I don't know. I guess she's doing all right. You know, if you're asking about that. So, and I've been doing YouTube for a long time, 8 years. And I never get burned out with anything I do. That's never going to happen. You know, a lot of folks will say, "Oh, I don't know what to talk about," or "I don't know what to make a film on." Some will say, "Oh, I put myself in a bind because now I can't go out and talk about other things because my YouTube fairway is this." Well, go look at Sailor Moon, or the Power Rangers, or the Mic Keepers, or the or Xena. We talk about and do all kinds of shit on our YouTube fairway. So we never feel we're in a bind and you can't do other things, you know? And there's always going to be other folks out there that have a thought and belief over how one gets more watch time or how one gets more followers or how one gets this or that. Some folks out there will think, well, it has to do with your likeness and what you name your film. And some folks will say it has to do with a whole bunch of other shit. But here's the thing. You can't make anyone watch your work. If they want to watch your films, then they're going to choose to watch it. And it's not going to care what your likeness or what your name is of your film. So you have to make some other ground to why they want to do it. You know? So, yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear you got into Sailor Moon. I'm glad to hear that. Did you get into it because you wanted to? Not that someone told you to. Now my arm's aching a bit, so I'm going to have to shift this light off. Doesn't really make much of an unlikeness, I know. So here's something other folks out there probably going to talk about, or they will or not talk about. It's their own business. They'll be like, Jordan, are you frightened about ownership? What, you mean like trade? You mean like ownership? No, I'm not frightened of it, and I'll tell you why. Because everything I do in my YouTube fairway, all the dolls and everything were made for folks to gather and play with and whatever. So it would be so there's no way they could get true ownership over anything. And it's not like I'm putting in It's not like I have their films or plays or Farseer shows or songs or song game or film games or or a song film or songs or anything like that. And if they did, then it would be lying. It would be a fake ownership strike, you know? So yeah, I'm not frightened of ownership. And as far as fair work goes, I don't do anything with anyone's stuff like I said like I just said. So once again, fair work wouldn't even be the answer either. So some folks might say this is boring, but hey, the way I do my films, no, unless someone just wants to get themselves in a lawful bind with lying about ownership over this work, no one's truly going to do it. It's not like the folks that made this doll are going to come on and say, you can't put this doll on YouTube because we made it. Yeah, you made it and you got a lawful deal with the shop to sell it, but that's it. It was made for folks to gather, but once the shop sold it to whoever, and whoever, once the shop sold it and it was then given to me, that's it. Now the ownership goes to me, and it was made to be either gathered or played with or whatever. So now it is what it is. It says, heavenly work, Jordan, you spread goodness. Yes, I hope to give happiness and glee and whatever you want to say to others. I hope to do it. It might not be as well known as Natalie Tang was with the followership fairway or the other two folks on there that have. If you go on my YouTube fairway and you look on other fairways, and it will say the free ones I have shown there, the ones that it says my whatever cool fairways, whatever I called it, those are the ones I offshoot from. But we all know that most likely they'd probably, but whatever. But it is what it is. And some folks out there might get on me and say, "Oh, Jordan, but here's the one thing I'm going to talk about. You know how a lot of folks like to have a belief that everyone says or does this one thing? Well, they're like, well, I don't like to have earrings. I never did. So I don't got no earrings. I don't do that. And I know he likes to do it, but I don't. So they're like, what about a handbag? Oh, I don't have a handbag because I don't got all that shit with me. You don't take a handbag unless you got a lot of stuff with you. And I don't. I have a little bag, whatever. I carry whatever I need to carry with me, whatever it is, on my little bags and my shorts or in my longs. That's it. I don't carry one of those handbags around. And I know Jordan, but not everyone does. So, right? So, and another thing I like to get into, if I'm not boring anyone, is that you always know anytime a film comes out or a play or some show, and it's like set in some yesteryear or some background time, and there's always going to be someone saying, "Oh, well, they didn't get everything down to a T. Not every single thing they said and did matches up." Yeah, well, you can't get everything down to a T. The only thing you can do is go from what was written down at the time, which isn't much. If it's an old time span and no one wrote nothing down, you can only go by some guesswork. But then again, you can only go by what was written down. So yeah, you're never ever going to get it right down to a T, right down to everything was the way it was. There is some guesswork with everything. And I always like to bring this up. Well, they bring this up a lot. So, Disney made their live film offshoot. And everyone goes and say, oh, all these things were wrong. It was the wrong time span. Yeah, but they couldn't get everything right. They did some guesswork. There is no truth to back it up if there was a true Mulan or not. You can't get everything right. You know, I like the film, and I'm far Eastern, and you didn't see me saying that was wrong, that is wrong. Because every time something comes out and it's set in some, yesteryear or some background time, and they always bitch about how not everything matches up. You know, what I'm talking about. Yes, no. I had a Twitter, but I do not have one anymore. But I did at one time, but not anymore, though. But that's how it's like. It'll be like, all right, I'm going to give you a film that's probably been made many remakes. I'm going to give you a film that's been made many times. So, all right. So I'm going to give you so they're going to be, all right. So we'll go with Titanic because there's been so many Titanic films over the years. So first you go with the first Titanic, which was in 9 between 22 YL, which was still in black and white, and or whatever, and they had words and you had to read it. Then you go to another Titanic. Then you go to Titanic 9 between 53 YL. Then you go to SOS Titanic. Then there was Night to Recall. Don't forget that one. And then after that, then there was the 9 between 96 YL small saga Titanic one. Then James Cameron offshooted his 9 between 97 YL film. And then there's 2012 YL. So that's been done many times. There's going to be someone saying, well, they didn't get that right. That didn't get said that way. That was said the wrong way. Well, all they could do is go by from what folks said they saw and heard that night and do some guesswork. You can't get everything down the way it was. So anyway, so you know how that goes. Well, So now I'm going to go and offshoot something that if anyone wants to listen to it, they can. So anyway, when you talk about how you're on Team Stronghold Guild handicap, you bring this up on YouTube, and then folks want to shame you. They want to say you're lazy. Oh, you're this. Well, that's what they did to Dwayne a long time ago. You see, a lot of folks out there will say, oh, you can't say anything about anything. They'll work it against you. No. So their whole little thing was about, oh, he lied to get himself on it. Oh, he doesn't need it because he doesn't look handicapped enough. Oh, his learning hang up is laziness. Well, how the fuck did they know that I was lazy? All right. It was true. When I started making my YouTube films, Dwayne was with his father at the time. He didn't really have a lot of things to do. But when he moved in with his mother, he still does things. Going to work full time or half time doesn't mean you're lazy if you don't. Take care of the dogs. Make sure they got their food and water and they out and they pee and shit. Take their clutter cans out. Bring them back. Run the little dirt sucker on the steps. Run the big dirt sucker in the living room and the kitchen and the eating room. Those little things. Make sure all the clothes get from the washer to the dryer and brought up and folded up. That's work right there. So I don't know where they got the laziness from. I guess they were coming from I guess it was coming from them being jealous, them being heartburned, them wishing that they had it, but they didn't. And then they were sobbing unfair So they wanted to make someone feel guilty as if they were doing something wrong to make themselves feel good back in the day. You know? And they could say, oh, well, I work. I go to learn. Oh, well, I don't see that. I could make up shit about them too and say, well, I see you're doing a YouTube film. How do I know you're going to work? How do I know you're going to learn? Yeah. I mean, I forgive them. You know, I forgive them. But I'm just saying, you know how that goes. Like, and sure, these folks are true. These folks are lazy. They're not going to learn the ins and outs of it, how you get it, how you keep it. They're just going to do whatever. I don't really care. And I stopped caring what they thought a long time ago. But I'm just telling you. Then there's going to be folks that say, oh, you shouldn't bring up anything you do because they'll work it against you. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I guess they will. Kind of hard for them to bring up something when they're lazy not to put the time in. You know? So some folks out there will be like, well, don't give them anything to work with. Well, first off, these folks will make fun of you and put you down and shame you and guilt you and scave you and slight you for everything. So no need what you say, what you don't say. But at the end of the day, I know I got folks who love me and love my work. Because there has to be something about you that they like or love to love your work. That's how it goes. You know? So, all right. Here's another thing. Oh, gosh, shift it up now. So everybody likes to think, they're like, Jordan, how did you get hot what? And they're like, no, I don't. I'm not a YouTube mate. I do not have no Google AdSense. I do not make no gald through Alphabet, through Google, through YouTube. I have no boost rings and showings on my films unless Google puts them on there for YouTube themselves. And I do not owe or do not yield any income toll to either the Gavver, Reich, or the Manier law modes. So no, I'm not a YouTube mate. You know, why would anyone out there want to put themselves under more oversight? It's like, oh well, it's like I uphold a YouTube Webstead oversight, the YouTube mateship over the YouTube followership oversight, but on top of that, I'm going to offshoot and I'm going to uphold the YouTube mateship oversight that's always shifting because Google's always shifting it. The YouTube mateship oversight, which Google's always shifting all the time too. Then I'm going to have to uphold the Google AdSense oversight, or let's say the Google AdWords oversight. And then on top of that, if it's a business, then I'm going to have to be beholding and owing and yielding for everybody that works for me, and also be owing and beholding and yielding an income toll to the Gavver law moat, the Reich law moat, the Earldom law moat, the Near law moat, or the Kin law moat. And for you folks who don't understand what I said, federal, state, county, and local, and tribal. Those were all the French and Latin borrowed words. The English word is Gavver, Reich, Earldom, and Near. So there you go. You mean love, work, and onlook is what you mean to say. Yeah, I read that. It's love, work, and onlook. So anyway, it is what it is. So no, I'm not a YouTube mate. The only YouTube oversight I uphold is the YouTube mateship, the YouTube followership oversight, and the YouTube Webstead oversight. That's it. Beyond that, I don't give two shits about the YouTube boostering oversight or the YouTube mateship oversight or the Google AdSense or the Google AdWords oversight because I don't have any of that stuff. I don't have to worry about putting a yes and a no to everything underneath my films when it's uploading. I don't have to worry about someone at YouTube saying, well, this doesn't fit. I don't have to worry about, being fully or halfway answerable to someone when they buy boostering and showing time on a film and they didn't like it. I don't have to worry about Lon John Silver's saying, I just bought boostering and showing time on this YouTube live stream and I don't like it. So I'm going to bitch at you and Google. Yeah. We can only bitch at Google, not at me, because I didn't put it there. So anyway, there you go. And it seems to be, for some folks on YouTube, if you're not doing it for work and you're not doing it as a business, that's like a bad thing to them, because some of these folks, that's all their whole thing is. YouTube to them is work. That's all it is, a business to them. And some folks out there seem to think it's a bad thing if you don't take it that way. Well, not all of them, but some of them out there go, oh shit, you're doing this for fun? Yeah. I didn't come on and see a business out of it, but if that's their own goal, then good for them. Sorry for that burp. No, but I'm just telling you that if Lon John Silver's bought boostering or showing time on this live stream, that it would be Google who would be fully answerable to them, not me, since I didn't put it there. That's what I meant to say. But I like Lon John Silver. I like their fish, just to let you know. And no business is ever going to reach out to me and say, let's get a deal and you talk about this shit. And then I get some kind of working deal with them. You get 5 off of this if you put Jordan Long in. No, that's never going to happen. So whatever. So anyway, it is what it is, So, but I like being on YouTube. I like what I do. My YouTube isn't for everyone. There are some folks out there that they just don't feel right about, coming on a webstead making films. They don't want folks knowing their business, good or bad. They just don't see anything in it and they don't feel right for doing it, and that's them. So not everyone can do this. Not everyone can get behind a web shooter, make it upload or a live stream and talk about stuff. So yeah, not everyone is into it. Not everyone feels right for doing it. And they're always warning you about, oh, don't say anything about anything because they can work it against you. Yeah, that might be true if you give them anything out there they can work with. But if you're dealing with lazy folks like I've dealt with, these folks ain't gonna duck you for anything. All these folks are gonna do is just take it and shame you with it. Because ducking someone means work, and these folks don't want to put in the work, so I don't really have any fear from them. You never. Yeah, you do need to have belief in making films, believe that or not. And if you don't feel right with making them, it's not going to work. That's how it goes with. Said food. Yeah, that's true. So, yeah. And a lot of folks might say, is this all it's going to be? It's just me running my mouth, talking about stuff. I don't know. Some of my longest films I ever made were my YouTube live streams, which were probably the longest. I take that back. Some of my longest films usually go to about 7. Well, I know 7 small, but the longest films, if it be my live streams, have been the longest. And everyone likes to always bring up about, oh, you should go on Amazon's Twitch. Oh, you should go on Strong Woman Twitch. Well, Twitch ain't anything outstanding because you can make a live stream right here and it'd be the same thing. Oh, they're like Twitch is it's a farcier folk work, which is true. It's a farcier folk work, and there's two Twitches. There's Twitch Free and Twitch Skilled. But you can make a live stream on YouTube, so Twitch ain't no big deal. And as far as TikTok goes, there's a thing called YouTube Shorts, but I can't do it because I don't got a wireless wise far speaker. So I can't make film. I can make films, but I can't upload them anywhere. So I couldn't do shorts if I wanted to. Plus, at the end of the day, I think uploads and live streams will always be the big thing. And shorts will always be that small thing that some folks like. But at the end of the day, the long films will always be what folks truly like more. Yeah, I got a far speaker, but it's like an in between. It's like between being a dumb far speaker and being a wise one. It's like a middle one. It's like a one where they give you a shooter to take likenesses and make films, but it's not really called a wise one. It's like in between it being wise and not being wise. You know? Where they give you the interweb, but the interweb is only there so you can see how many days you have left on your business help, how many spans you got before on your calls. It's not real, not like that. So anyway, it is what it is. So I know a lot of folks out there will say a lot of things. They're like, Jordan, folks always will ask me, Jordan, why did you settle in with your godmother Zena back in 28 between while? I don't know, because I couldn't make it on my own. Before that, I lived with my mother, and then for some time I had a borrowed room in a boarding house somewhere or boarding. And then after that, then I borrowed out this house, which happened to be owned by my godmother Zena. And then back in 2020, back in 28 between YL, I settled in. Oh, I do my thing. I do my thing to keep my stead. Don't get me wrong. I'm no freeloader. I do my thing to keep doing stuff. I know some of you folks out there say, "Oh, Jordan, I didn't know what were the things you were never good at." I don't know. I just wasn't good at that. And folks are say, "Well, yeah." That always came on. Yeah. Do you ever play with those throwing this flying rings? The flying rings, you mean? Sometimes I do, but my godmother Zena is more good at flying rings than I am. Every time I do fly, it either goes somewhere and gets hit in the wall or falls down, or it comes back and hit me once, and that happened. So I'm not as good at throwing the flying ring as my godmother Zena is. And you see, Zena doesn't like it when I call her godmother. She's like, "You don't have to call me godmother because I'm not your mother, I'm your godmother." It's like you have to show on look. That's the rank. And Zena isn't someone that was gonna be handling all my worship dealings. She took me on, and my mother made it where if something should happen to me, then Zena would then take over and watch over me, and Jay too. So yeah, so it is what it is. It says, "Why do you speak like this?" Speak like what? Speak like what? Are you getting on me for not speaking English the same way you speak it? how I choose not to speak English with borrowed words, but only with true English words? Or you just want to be hushed and locked? Because I don't have no hang up doing that. Okay, that's it. You are locked and hushed from my YouTube fairway. Gone. Flying ring is an English word. Frisbee is a French borrowed word. Throwing disc is an English word too. Well, forgive me. The only ones that wouldn't understand flying ring would be someone who's speaking English as a two-forward speech or someone who's only learning it. But if you speak English as a first speech, then you would truly understand the English words and, sadly, the borrowed words. Oh, what speech I'm speaking? I'm speaking English. That's what speech I'm speaking. So that's it. Another creep gets to be put on hush. Or no, I meant to put him on hush. And sadly, it seems to be that half of the folks that were on my YouTube live stream were creeps. I had about 6 watchers, and half of them were creeps. Ain't that sad? Or maybe it was a mistake. Okay, one of those had to be a mistake. Yeah, well, one of them was. And I'm just going to yield for one of them to say something again so I can know which one to do it to. Well, this was the one. Okay, I was right about that one. So and so, yeah. I was probably right about that. No, didn't want to do that. Okay, we'll go back where I was at. So everything's fucked up now. It is. Hold on, I gotta do something. They'll probably need. No, I'm not going back on anything. Yeah. So I'm gonna go do this thing. Well, they all knew who they were. They were being creeps. You had Fed Bones, Glitter Pony, and other. Yeah, they were all being creeps. So yeah, I had a right to hush and lock them. And I may have fucked up and put them on timeout when I really meant to hush and lock them. So if they start showing up again, then they're hushed and locked. And I gotta go through and do these things on my reckoner, and you can't do it without being like one-handed. So they knew who they were. And I don't know if I was saying their names right or not. Their handles or whatever you want to call them, their worker names. Someone tells me, "Oh, why do you speak like that? Why do you choose to say the English words instead of the borrowed words?" Because folks who speak English would probably understand the English words and the borrowed words and give me shit for choosing not to say the borrowed words. And then someone says, "Oh, what speech is this?" "It's English." Yeah, well, true, it's now English, because English offshoot about 4 times in its life: young, old, middle, and now. It's a whatever. So at the end of the day, I got all of them hushed. All of them. So there you go. And it's kind of sad that I had about 3 folks on there and they were being creeps. Now, if I was someone like Matthew Rose, and he's got the right to his own business, what he chooses to do is his own business on his YouTube. If I was him, I'd be like, I can't hush and lock anyone. But that's what he chooses to do. That's his own business, and good for him. I forgive them, but that's the end of it. The Natalie Promen Gamer. Well, glad to hear that. That you're making friends, or at least, and someone goes, "Hi, my friend. Scott, your YouTube film. I'm good, my friend." Well, I'm glad to hear that. At least it's good to know that someone out there, at least for getting friends on here, making near friends, I guess, or interweb friends, or whatever you want to call it. You know. So, anyway, I just want to say that I hushed and locked them. You're never going to hear from them again. One, someone behave. Oh, I don't even want to get into it. Because that's what they want me to do. They want me to bitch about them. Yes, English took borrowed words from other speeches. Yeah, English took borrowed words from many other speeches. And me choosing to speak English without the borrowed words doesn't make you shaming. So if you're gonna start that shit up about me choosing to speak English without borrowed words, I'm gonna hush and lock you. And then say, "Oh, what speech is it?" "It's English." What do you think I was speaking? Well, I don't really care. Well, now he's hushed now. I don't need to get into it. Yes, it's true. English took borrowed words from many other speeches. It took a lot of borrowed words from Latin and French, some from Greek, some from Gaelic. It took borrowed words from many other speeches, but at the end of the day, English still has its true English words. And if I say flying ring, we all know what I mean. A ring that flies, something you throw. Since chakram, that's a Punjabi borrowed word. And you're going to behave like you don't. Okay, what is this? So true. Fuck the haters. Yeah. I say I forgive the haters, but I don't, but I keep them locked in hush. So anyway, it is what it is. So Glitter Pony is gone. He or she, wants to say, "Oh, I never shamed you." Well, I don't want to hear it. You know. So anyway, where was I? Oh, so earlier Scott said he got into Sailor Moon, and I said that was good for him getting into Sailor Moon. I said I hope he chose to get into it because he wanted to, not that someone said something. There's always going to be folks out there that, they get squeezed to get into something. Someone says, "Oh, you should watch this, or you should listen to that, or you should play this." And do they choose to do it because they want to, or they do it because they think they want to fit in? And I hope you choose to get into it because you want to, not that someone told you to. You know. Well, there are many Sailor Moons out there to get into, but at the end of the day, the Sailor Moon that I like to follow is I first follow the Deacon Cloverway offshoot of Sailor Moon. Then, you know, then the Viz one. But the Viz one is like a backup. Like if I can't watch the Deacon Cloverway Sailor Moon, then I go to Viz. And I know a lot of folks don't like the Deke offshoot or the Cloverway offshoot. A lot of folks they don't like how cells names were shifted, strike and names were shifted, how they skimmed over some followings, how they shifted this out, and how they handled that. I get it. It's not to everyone's liking, but I only watched the Viz one if I can't get to the Deke or Cloverway ones. But whatever one chooses to watch, that's their own business. Now, the Viz one is going to be the smoother one to seek out than all the other Sailor Moon ones because it's on Hulu, it's on Tubi, you know. Unless you go to the webstead, cartoons online, then you can most likely see the Deke, Cloverway, and Viz offshoots of Sailor Moon. The only thing here, yeah, but that's how it goes. I like all of them. I like all the Sailor Fighters, or whatever you want to call them. I like all of them. You know, yeah, I like Serena and Amy and Ray and Lita and Mina and Darian and Rini and Amara, Michelle and Tissa and Taru. Yeah, I know. I said a lot of Latin and Greek and Farsi and Hebrew borrowed names, and the only Dawnlandish borrowed name was Taru. That's it. I know someone's going to get mad at me and say, "Oh, well, you should have called them by their Dawnlandish borrowed names." Yeah, you know, and then make a big thing and tell me that you know about that or something. You know, it's that yeah. I never watched that show, so I don't know what it's about. But I'm guessing it's a live draw. It's a drawing film, I would think. It's it's a drawing film, I would think. You know, and someone's going to tell me, "Oh well, anime is a Dawnlandish borrowed word." No, it's a French borrowed word, taken from the French borrowed word animation, means to make or to make alive. The English word to be a drawing film. There's live drawings and a drawing film. And I get it, they're not all films. They're live drawings, but because cartoon, that's a borrowed word. Anime and animation, French borrowed words. So the English word would be drawing film, live drawings. but it's a kind of drawing film of some kind. Yeah, it's a Don Landis drawing, a live drawing. You know, a live drawing. Yeah. You know? No, I don't speak any other speech. I only speak English. I don't speak any other speech. My brain don't work that way. I'm lucky to have learned English. I can't learn any other speech. You know, it doesn't work. Yeah, there are folks that can put in a disc and can learn it like that, or they can learn it from a speaker who speaks the speech. And then there's folks that strokes it. Then there's folks out there will take some time, but then they learn the speech. And then there's others like me where it just never works. You know, and folks are going to say it takes a long time to learn the speech. Well, if that's fucking true, then why do it? If that's true, then that's a first. I don't want to go through all that. Why the hell would I want to have a disc that keeps saying one borrow word over and over and over again just to get that one word down? My brain cannot learn any other speeches. The only speech I learned was English. That's it. I'm sorry, I don't speak any other speeches. It doesn't work. And that doesn't make me lazy, because you know there are folks out there who they speak English, but as soon as they learn another speech, they'll go, "Oh, I used to be lazy like my fellow English speakers, but now I'm not because I learned another speech." They'll be like, you know, I don't even know what that is. To be earnest with you, I don't even know what that is. You know, I don't even know what it is. What you're even asking me. If you're talking about income, like income what a business makes on goods and stuff. Well, it's always shit. It's never good. But that could be whatever. You know, that's it. Now this one's truly asking for it. Gone. An English way. An English way. Well, the only English way I speak is North Erickson Land English, which is also known as New World English, or known as Wanted Rights English. You know, that's the only way of English I know. I don't speak any other offshoot or way of English, which is probably good. Yeah, I just had to go bloody block another bloody creep now from off of my live stream. You know, yeah, there are ways of English that are spoken by some folks. Either they learn it that way or it just happens that way. You know, but I don't know which way I speak it. I only speak it as whatever. So your guess goes mine. Oh, my arm is aching me now. Oh, gone. Well, Glitter Pony is now truly hushed and locked now. And he ain't never coming back. He or she never coming back. Because now they're asking me all kinds of stuff like, do you like black folk? Hey, I like all kinds of folks. I get along with everyone. No need. what they look like, what speech they speak, what worship they follow. I'm not a kind hater. I don't believe in kind hating. I believe you should only be guested from the way you behave and what you do, and not from the way you look or the way you talk, or from your handicap, or your love shoes, or your worship. So I don't know why he or she want to put that there. You know. Oh, a gatherer follower, a law keeper for one of the many law keeping teams of the Wanted Reich's gathering law moat. Well, tell me which one you think he falls into, he or she works for, or one that's not even truly. I would go with S. No, probably not. Because as soon as I make up one, it isn't true. Yeah. I wanted to say the Men in Black, but that's an offshoot of SPD, which is offshoot into Homeland Stronghold, and they're the plain closed followers of it. Yeah, that would be the gathering team of Underseeking, the FTU. Why? I don't know. Don't ask me. But anyway, it is what it is. So, yeah. Oh, my neck. So, anyway, it is what it is. So now, at the end of the day, you know, well, I don't know well, they say YouTube can let you make live stream for about 3 hours. But who's going to make a live stream that goes long for 3 or 4 spans? I don't know. Don't know. Someone who just, forgets that their shooter's on, forgets their reckoners on, forgets they're on YouTube, has to go somewhere, and then all says shit, and they've been gone for like a span. They come home and they're like, shit, my shooter's on, there's a live stream going on, I forgot about it. And I was at work all day or learn all day. But anyway, I just want to say thank you to everyone that came on my YouTube live stream. Thank you for all the things and all the stuff you said in my shout out box, as I call it. Oh, I know it's not the over shout out box. I'm not going to get any weirgild or gald from it. No one's going to say, here's $20 during to back you up in your next filming. I don't got the over shout out box. The only unlikeness between this shout out box and the over shout out box is that they can give you that stuff. So it's about it. I'm sorry, I don't even know who she is. And I'll have to end this YouTube live stream now. So thank you for all coming on. I'm Jordan Long, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Goodbye.